Man, what's up, y'all? I was going to drag this out, but I know everybody's ready to advance, even though we've had time. I figured I'd go ahead and just do a live advance since we have not had a bunch of shows and do a real quick breakdown on what to expect or kind of give some brief expectations on what I think people are going to do as far as playoffs are considered in regards to league play, of course, while we get ready to build these channels as well. I know quite a few people are in kind of a close spot when you look at the current college football, our top 25 right now, people sitting at the edge. Waiting for opportunities to get in. As obviously, as you can see, that 12, 13, and a 14 spot. Clemson sitting at 8-4. So this definitely is going to make a few changes. I don't expect much, but again, just figured I'd do a quick show and make sure this is live for everybody to see. So I'm going to double check that really quick. And again, we are going to advance this live. Everything is basically set, so I'm going to go ahead and make sure that each injuries are off. So we are all good to go there as far as the advance. We are going to run this live, and then we're going to talk about what to expect when it comes to these playoffs. Here we go. And the league is advanced from the conference championships. And let's get over to this live playoff picture to see where we sit in league play. Ain't that a bitch? Smitty gets the Heisman this year with Cade Durham. So big trophy winner. We were thinking about possibly doing a possible opportunity for maybe either attributes or something like that to give away this year for the top dogs. Oh, I get a conference, I get a bowl game, ain't that bitch? Hey. So we'll get those bowl games and everything listed as well. But again, wanted to jump over to the advance. In the meantime, going to go ahead and look at some of these bowl matchups, but we're going to go ahead and go to the bracket first as far as league play. And this is our current bracket, and wow, I'm liking how it looks so far, just from a competitive standpoint. And so we're just going to go from the top, obviously, and work our way down. Very first game you can see is going to be Oregon versus Florida. So it does look like King 757 does get in to the playoff picture. I'm going to go ahead and post a picture in the chat so that way everybody can see this. For those that may not watch the show, so let me go ahead and post this in the chat so make sure everybody can see this real quick. But this is the current playoff picture as we go into our first season of playoffs, and I think it's pretty fairly set for the most part, but we're going to go ahead and discuss it. Oregon versus Florida. Obviously, this is going to be King 757 against our Florida user, the head coach, Mr. Jay Coleman with Florida. I expect Florida to win this game and move on to the quarterfinals. I do not expect there to be I expect Oregon to compete, but I do expect Florida to win this one to eventually play against Smitty with LSU. Ole Miss and Ohio State will definitely be an interesting game. Old Miss and Ohio State would be an interesting game. Obviously, you're going to get Rome being able to get the opportunity to play with Ohio State, which, I mean, thank God he's making it with Ohio State. Congrats to him. Going against DMAC and Ole Miss, this would be an interesting game. Both users are not heavy risk takers when it comes to the offensive side of the ball, so I expect this to be pretty conservative. My expectation is that Rome wins this game playing with those Buckeyes. But at the same time, DMAC got some big wins this year. He did get a win over Texas earlier this season. He finished the season 9-3 in a tough conference. He slides into the playoffs. So I expect Rome to win this game with Ohio State, even with a conservative style play. But it wouldn't shock me if Ole Miss wins it. I'm going to go with Ohio State here. UCLA and Arkansas, it's just a straight-up rematch. I mean, they basically just played the conference championship just to basically play each other again. I'm a little shocked that the game did not put North Carolina State, or I'm sorry, didn't put NC State in over UCLA, trying to make sure we didn't miss anything here as far as a forced win or loss there, because that would obviously be a huge blow. But the game did not put NC State in there. And again, I want to verify and make sure we're not missing anything because, again, that would be a huge blow to NC State. So I'll check that after this stream. But it does not have them in the bracket. And I thought NC State was sitting right above Texas Tech. But again, the game does what it does. We're going to go with, I'm going with Arkansas. This rematch obviously is going to go right back. Same situation. I expect Young to have the same result, to go play Mark in the quarterfinal and with those Mustangs. Then we got Texas Tech and Oklahoma. Vic does not lose twice. That's just not something that you see happen where he loses 2 games in a row. So I'm definitely going to give Vic this game to get a rematch against Colton with the Texas Longhorns. That'll obviously be a pretty exciting matchup for the league to watch, a good rematch, as I think there was about 15 people watching that one. And so then, of course, we get to the quarterfinal. I mean, I've tried to do this every year, give my perspective on how each, all the way down to the national championship and who I think will win. And going straight over to, but most likely be Florida and LSU. This will be a fun rematch. Both users played earlier in the season. Both users had a very competitive situation against one another. The game came down to the end, and I think it will do the same thing. I think we will again see a game come down to the end between JC and Smitty. Smitty should in this rematch, especially with getting the Heisman with his running back. I think he'll win that game by 3, but again, it's still yet to be seen as far as how all this plays out. And then basically whoever plays T-Raw in the next round is going to, their season's going to end in the quarterfinal. That's pretty much going to be a wrap. You're going to see T-Raw in the semifinal game, most likely against Smitty with LSU. And then you're going to have SMU and Arkansas, Young and Mark. I mean, I might as well just call this game the game of cheese, because basically what's going to happen is whoever cheeses the best is going to win that game. And I think from what it looks like this year, Young ain't bullshitting when it comes to that cheese. So it's very possible that this may be the end for those Mustangs. And then you're going to see Young make it to a semifinal, back-to-back playoff games, I believe. That you're going to see Young in that semifinal game against either Oklahoma or Texas. And then, of course, Oklahoma-Texas game is going to be a big rematch. That one's probably the hardest one for me to call next to LSU and Florida. I think those are the 2 hardest to call up to this point. And I keep in mind, the only reason that I'm putting a knock on SMU has nothing to do with Mark as the user. It has everything to do with the fact that I think from a conference that he played in, he didn't have a crazy ton of comp throughout his season. I'm pretty sure the one game he lost was out of conference. So he just didn't have to play from a competitive standpoint. He didn't have a lot of dog fights throughout the year for the most part, where at least with Young, he's had to play from a competitive standpoint. He's had to fight his way to get to that playoff picture. And I just think from that perspective, it kind of puts Mark on the back end here. I do expect, and that's why I expect Young to win that one. Texas and Oklahoma is going to be a rematch. Both games, the first time they played, I'm pretty sure Colton won the first one 17-0. This second game, he won just recently in the conference championship. I believe that was a 5-point game. And again, this is the hardest one to call, because I think the difference between, I believe whoever wins this game between Colton and Vic goes to the national championship. I think it's just that it's going to be that clear to me. Between Colton and Vic, whoever wins that game, regardless of Young or Mark, I believe either user is going to go to the national championship. They don't have to do anything crazy on defense to defend what Young brings to the offensive side. Now, the interesting thing would be if Mark beats Young and then goes to the semifinal game. That's a different conversation, because Mark did beat Colton earlier in the season, and I think he has a pretty good idea of how Vic wants to play. So that could be it. Really, it comes down to if Mark actually beats Young. So that's that's just my perspective right there. I don't expect Fuzz to have a crazy different game plan when it comes to playing against Young. I think that's where he's going to ultimately be in a bad spot. But again, Texas and Oklahoma for me is a tough one to call. That's tough. It's really tough for me to call Texas and OU. I don't know. I don't know. That may be the hardest one for me to call because how close each user is from a game style as the seasons have progressed. Um, yeah, dog. It's really hard for me not to go with Vic just because of what I've seen historically from a gameplay perspective. Um, that's tough. That's tough. I'm gonna say whoever wins this one is gonna be a close game. Um, I don't know. I'm gonna let the chat choose that one. I have no idea. That's tough. Because here's the thing, Colton has now beat Vic twice this year. I don't know if he can do that again for a third time. And that's why I want to lean on Vic, because I don't believe he gets it for a third time. If Vic wins that game against Colton, Vic makes the national championship. If not, because I don't think either Mark or Young will beat him. If Colton makes it to the semifinal and Mark wins against Young, then Colton could be in trouble against those SMU Mustangs. But that's the show. Just wanted to make sure that we put some kind of content out for the group, because that's something we try to do each and every day. Something we try to do each and every day when we can. It's just been very busy to start the year. But I hope you guys have a good rest of the day. I'm going to get these channels posted for not only the playoff games, but also the bowl weeks as well. Man, we'll tune in and talk to y'all soon. Good luck to everybody. Peace. Real quick, I'm so fucking mad they gave Smitty the Heisman. I just wanted to make sure I put that out there.